Hey fellas. Well, as promised, to make up for the Monday I had off, you get a double episode vlog today where I take two episodes in one, Clang in Japan. So I'm gonna be tackling in episode 70 first. Here's Dewpider Ascending. Yeah. So if any so this episode largely revolves around Jupiter migrating from its nest after Forza's own of its own territory. And one in particular initially has trouble keeping its bubble on, but gets a hang of it, and it's actually kind of interesting because the first 10 minutes of this episode are essentially almost like a nature documentary, set in the Pokemon world, which I actually kind of like that concept. Even if one of my associates kind of got a little bit huffy on Twitter about her in hindsight some of the changes made, claiming that they're not good for concepts. I personally don't agree with that. Because this one is sound. Even if the ending is not quite David Attenborough, I actually think it's kind of relaxing this way. Always some of my favorite shorts back in the day actually ones that didn't have much dialogue in them besides the Pokemon's cries at all. So eventually, Jupiter makes its way to Ula'Ula Island and gets a glimpse of Lana wearing a one of Poplio's balloons on her head. So this very strange episode, much like the Wachowskis film that the title is referencing here. I will admit, but that again, that's why I found this region so unique and so interesting to me. Hey, that's the strangest of it all. All makes sense. And they do agree to at least keep an eye on Jupiter as he tries to find a home and eventually finding its own nearby lake. But first, has a claim from a Surskit, who also ends up avoiding Masquerain. Eventually, the Jupiter wins the battle and has a new home. So this first one featured Lana heavily, and the next one I'm doing this double vlog is going to be involving Mallow. We continue with episode 71, Sours for the Sweet. I'm doing these both mainly at the same time because they both aired as a 1 hour special in Japan, where Mallow's big brother Ulu comes back home in order to compete in the annual Ula bread competition where the winner gets a cruise around the world as well as a trophy. And alongside the help of his lucky tongue, not only do they help out at the cafe, after Abe injures his back, trying to lift some bags of flour. Or they also want to try and come up with a new recipe that can be enjoyed by both people and Pokemon alike. No easy task, especially when you're working with grubba berries, which can have a sour or sweet taste depending on who tastes it, which I actually kind of like that idea. In essence. And so, and yet, thanks to a mishap with the cart, which actually forced them to use sour berries, turns out, thanks to a comment that Abe made earlier, Mal has a plan B to make them into a sweet jam or jelly, which we're watching, or preserves, or fruit spray, whatever you want to call it. And it's definitely an enjoyable episode. And in the background, Team Rocket is also trying to make their own treats in the competition as well as to attract business, but the strain on their cards quite literally blows from their face. We'll have more on that next time, in case you can't tell. Also, Ulu's another bit of a Casanova wannabe, so I guess he's also Brock's Alolan form, perhaps? So, despite the odds against them, they win competition, but as it turns out, one of the objects of Ula's affection is like the pancake egg maiden from an earlier episode is actually already engaged to be wed, so he takes a trip around the world while Mallow takes the other prize is to stay at the back at the family restaurant. And all I gotta say, even though this is definitely a very bizarre saga overall, and even though some people are not always most into it, personally, I think it's one of the more unique ones. And I still enjoy it, even if some other people are having second thoughts of it. And I'll get into more about my thoughts on these vlogs, since I thought about responding to this individual before, but there'll be another time for that, another forum. Um, but I'd rather. So, with these in the can, I now have just 20 episodes in the season to cover, and I'm still adamant about trying to get this done before, or at least by April. Because again, I was hoping to have this almost done sooner, but apparently I'm now expecting a new router to be shipped here to deal with some of the issues that have been faced here since the ice storm and the data breach I mentioned before. Or so, but at least it's not all of that. I still want to have some videos ready to go out to you before I go out to the coast next week. Also been I was out today getting my wardrobe a little bit freshened up for the occasion. Some new shirts you might see in my daily my rotation. Some of these videos, some of my other fandoms, and so yeah. Not everything's reopened yet where I live, but enough of the anchor stores who's out of town were, even if parts of the mall that they're part of are still closed off with the metal doors and everything. And since I'm still going to at least be single layering, and even when I do get immune, and so will be a when it's beginning of the Ula'Ula Island trials, and something came up today that I might feel compelled to address.